When Hugh Jackman, the universally adored Australian actor, known for his versatility, his charm, and humility, took a seat at the table on The View, no one could have predicted that the appearance would spiral into one of the most talked-about daytime television moments of the year. Scheduled to promote his latest Broadway revival and discuss his philanthropic work, Hugh was welcomed with applause and admiration. Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, and the other co-hosts greeted him with genuine excitement. But as is often the case on The View, the conversation drifted into territory far deeper than the promo sheet suggested. What started as a light-hearted exchange about the role of celebrities in political discourse took a sharp and unexpected turn. Hugh, known for his measured opinions and respectful tone, found himself in a growingly tense debate with Whoopi Goldberg, one that would test his calm demeanor, challenge his public persona, and culminate in an emotional eruption that left audiences in complete disbelief. Asterisk, at first, everything felt smooth. Hugh cracked jokes about his Wolverine days, shared memories from filming in Australia, and discussed how much he enjoyed the stage over screen lately. Whoopi herself, a veteran of both film and theater, asked insightful questions that allowed Hugh to open up about his creative process. But the atmosphere shifted when the topic of celebrity silence came up. Joy Behar asked Hugh why he's rarely vocal on social media about world events, particularly in contrast to other Hollywood figures. Hugh, in his classic polite tone, explained, "I believe in using my platform wisely, but I don't always think shouting louder helps anything." It was meant as a balanced answer, but Whoopi raised an eyebrow. "So staying silent is the wiser path?" she questioned. Hugh tried to clarify, "No, I just don't believe in reacting to everything emotionally. I prefer to take time, listen, and then act thoughtfully." But Whoopi, clearly fired up, wasn't satisfied. "That sounds like privilege to me," she said firmly. "The world is burning, and silence isn't neutral." Asterisk, the comment visibly caught Hugh off guard. He looked toward Whoopi, eyebrows raised. "I'm not being silent because I don't care," he said evenly. "I just don't believe my every opinion needs to be broadcast to millions." Whoopi didn't back down, "But you have millions listening. That's the point. When people like you say nothing, it says everything." Hugh leaned forward. "I understand where you're coming from, Whoopi, but I think we're conflating volume with virtue. Sometimes, the loudest people have the least to offer." The studio fell silent. Joy looked between the two nervously, while Sarah N. awkwardly sipped water. Whoopi gave a tight smile. "You're pretty polished for someone with nothing to offer." The jab hung in the air. Hugh's smile vanished. "That's not what I said, and you know it." It was in that moment that audiences realized the tone had shifted from debate to personal, and the man known for being unfailingly gracious was clearly nearing his boiling point. Asterisk, the discussion tried to pivot toward Jackman's charity work, his coffee company that supports global farmers, his mental health advocacy, but Whoopi brought the conversation right back to accountability. "You talk about mental health, but where's the advocacy when systems oppress people every day? Mental health doesn't exist in a vacuum." Hugh, clearly frustrated, replied, "Advocacy doesn't have to look one way. Just because I'm not on Twitter 24/7 doesn't mean I'm not working behind the scenes." Whoopi nodded, but her tone sharpened. "Behind the scenes doesn't save lives when people are dying in public," Hugh responded, louder than before. "And performative outrage doesn't solve anything either," the audience gasped. The moment he said it, Hugh leaned back, as if realizing he'd crossed a threshold. The charm had dropped. He wasn't just defending himself, he was angry. Years of image management cracked in an instant. And for the first time in his public life, Hugh Jackman looked truly furious on national television. Asterisk, Whoopi, known for her strong presence, didn't flinch. "Performative, really? So now you're accusing people who speak out of being fake?" Hugh, jaw tight, fired back, "No. I'm saying not every solution involves yelling at cameras or trying to win moral points. Some of us are trying to build things that last." The room was dead quiet. No one clapped. Even Joy Behar appeared stunned. Sonny Hostin jumped in, trying to steer things back, suggesting that perhaps the conversation was losing nuance. But the tension was too thick to ignore. Whoopi folded her arms. So tell me, what have you built that's so lasting? Hugh, nearly trembling, said, "My work supports farmers, builds education in rural communities, funds clean water projects. God, what do you do besides sit at this table and judge everyone?" The air was sucked out of the room. A moment of stunned disbelief followed. Whoopi blinked in shock. That wasn't just defensive. That was personal. Asterisk at that point, producers backstage began signaling for a break, but the conversation was spiraling. Hugh stood up. "I didn't come here to be ambushed or misrepresented. I came here to talk about helping people. If this show wants to twist that into a fight, I'm not playing along."
Whoopi spoke again,
but her voice was calm now, chillingly. Calm. "No one twisted anything, Hugh. You revealed exactly who you are." That was the final trigger. Hugh muttered, "I'm done," and yanked off his microphone. Without another word, he walked off the set. The audience didn't know whether to clap, gasp, or sit silently. The camera panned awkwardly to Joy, who quickly said, "We'll be right back," before the feed cut to commercial. But it was too late. The damage had been done. Within minutes, social media exploded with unedited footage of the clash. Headlines didn't wait for the next day. Hugh Jackman raging on. The View was viral before he even got back to his car. Asterisk, the backlash was instant and intense. On one side were those shocked by Hugh's departure from his usual polished demeanor. On the other, a wave of fans praised him for standing up to what they viewed as a toxic and confrontational environment. Twitter trends lit up. Hashtag Hugh rages. Hashtag Jackman vs Whoopi. Hashtag View explosion. Clips of the argument circulated online with hundreds of thousands of views in mere hours. Some fans said it was high time someone pushed back on the hosts. Others criticized Hugh's lack of composure. Meanwhile, the PR teams for both Jackman and The View scrambled. Hugh's rep released a brief statement saying, "Mr. Jackman regrets how the conversation escalated but stands by his values and the work he does globally." ABC in turn stated, "The View is a space for open dialogue. Sometimes those dialogues become passionate. We thank Mr. Jackman for his time. No apologies." Just aftermath asterisk, within days, think pieces began flooding the media. Was Hugh's outburst a justified defense against performative activism? Or did he, as some claimed, reveal a deeper discomfort with being challenged? Whoopi didn't address the incident directly on air the next day, but made a cryptic comment. During a different segment, "Sometimes people show you their mask, and sometimes they take it off." Speculation swirled. Jackman, notably silent after the statement, canceled another scheduled interview that week, leading to more speculation about whether the backlash had taken a toll. Meanwhile, fan bases clashed in online comment sections. Clips of Jackman shouting "performative outrage doesn't solve anything" were remixed into songs, memes, and reels. Commentators on both ends of the political and cultural spectrum weighed in, turning what was supposed to be a routine interview into a full-blown cultural moment. Asterisk, eventually, Jackman re-emerged with a long Instagram post, a black and white photo of him in a remote village, surrounded by school children, with the caption, "Less talk, more action, no tags, no explanations," just a silent rebuttal to everything that had been said. That single post garnered millions of likes and sparked a new wave of conversation. Was he taking the high road or doubling down? Meanwhile, The View saw a temporary bump in ratings, but also a wave of criticism for how the interview was handled. Producers reportedly discussed adjusting their tone for celebrity guests who aren't there to engage in heated debate. Whether that materializes is another matter entirely. But one thing was clear: Hugh Jackman's image, pristine.com, above the free, had taken a rare hit, and the world saw, for the first time, just how much fire smolders beneath that signature grin. Asterisk, in the end, the clash between Hugh Jackman and Whoopi Goldberg became more than just a celebrity spat. It became a referendum on how we communicate in the age of outrage. It challenged assumptions about politeness, virtue, and authenticity. Hugh's rage wasn't just a moment of ego, it was the cry of a man tired of being misread. And Whoopi's firmness wasn't just confrontation, it was the stance of someone refusing to let silence be dressed as dignity. The conversation may have ended abruptly, but its echoes remained. In living rooms, boardrooms, and digital comment threads, people kept revisiting that moment. Because in a world where celebrity interviews are often fluff and fluff alone, this one had teeth. And when those teeth showed, the world leaned in not because they love drama, but because, for once, someone said exactly what they felt, and someone else refused to let it slide. That's not just viral content. That's a real conversation, messy, uncomfortable, and unforgettable.